this again.
Hey, what's up? It's DJ DBP, and whatever you
Oh,
do in
now I
life,
can't
remember
hear it.
this. It's all about the basics.
Check, 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 check. Oh yeah. What's up, folks? What's up, folks? Yo, what's up, folks? What's up? What's up? What's up? Well, I'm this. Welcome to the very first episode of The Basics. I'm your host, DJ DBP, right? Sorry, I know the camera's kind of over there, but I'm talking over here. We'll work it out, but this is the first episode, so I figured I'd get it rolling. I didn't want to keep you guys waiting forever, right? So, anyways, this is the show, The Basics. I'm DJ DBP, of course, as I just mentioned, and basically, what this show's all about is for you you guys and gals new to DJing, aspiring DJs, or even the veterans, like many of you are. This is just a show that really goes back and touches on the basics, and then as we both progress, both myself and you, the viewer, we'll go into some more advanced things. But um, I just want to start out, kind of, back up a little bit. I told you my name again. I'm DJ DBP. I've been DJing since I guess 93 or something, 93, 94. I started back with some old Technique SL 20s or something, BD10s, some belt drive turntables. My very first thing, I think I started with a Radio Shack 19-inch mixer rack mount. I was trying to find pictures of those things so I could put them in the intro video clip, but I couldn't at the time. Anyways, eventually I got on some 1200s. Did that for a while, and progressed on when the Pioneer first released the CDJ line. I got that, and then I moved on to the other different CDJs, and eventually I've stopped carrying crates of records, and now I carry a MIDI controller. So real quick, again, with this show, this show is going to be brief tonight because it's the first one, but what I'm going to talk about tonight is your basic fundamentals of record control, hand control, record control, mainly controlling the platters. But before I get into that, I do want to tell you what kind of setup I'm working with. So everybody's setup won't be the same, and I'm not really gearing the show programming to be just for a particular setup. I use Tractor. And I'll have it on there, but I'm actually using Tractor Pro, not the newest one. It's actually I think like a step behind, and I'm using the CDJ, no, the Pioneer DDJ T1 controller, MIDI controller, basically. I chose this one over the Serato one just simply because I had been with Tractor, that's why. And then I chose this over my CDJs because, or I chose this over like some of the other options available out there because it was similar to my CDJ setup, and that's why I did that. I've had the Newmark Omni Control. I've had the Newmark, no, the Newmark Omni Control, the Hercules RMX. I was thinking about getting the RMX 2. Um, and out of the two, I actually like the RMX much more. It was a very nice controller for what it is, and all that stuff. But we'll go into that stuff in later episodes. Like I said, right now, today, mainly, I just want to talk about basic record control, platter control on your turntables. Now, you may be using. Well, I would give a shout out to my homie Melee Michael Lee. That's who inspired me to do these videos. He may have to watch the recorded version. But he has a set of 12, working with a set of 1200 Technique 1200s, which I used to have. Of course, the 1200s have a much larger platter um, than these, but the techniques here, or the basics that we're going to talk about today, are transferable. You know, what I learned on there, I'm transferring to here, and what I learned on here, you should be able to transfer back, and vice versa. So, with that being said, record control, basically platter control, and let's see. You should be able to hear this. I should have this hooked up. Let's see. Let's switch on to the other track. I'm not going to go into the nuances and stuff of the specifics of the necessary software today. I'm really just going to start with this, like I said, this platter control. All right. So with this being said, let's just talk about the platter real quick, and I'll grab the other one since I think it's a little easier to see. The DDJ T1 platters, as well as the Serato version of the similar MIDI controller, I believe they all have illuminated platters, and you can see right here as you watch it, it has the red ring goes around in a circle. Okay, that is akin to putting tape on a record, right? So basically, DJs who've been DJing for a while or whatever, in order to mark their spot where a sound, a sample may start or end, a lot of times they use tape. It's just a visual marker so that you can keep track, so you can do your hand-eye coordination, so that you know that I want the downbeat of that measure starts right there. It starts where this light is up. I know the snare starts right here where the light is over here. Let's say it's at 0 degrees. Say this is 0, 90, 180, 360. So at 0 degrees, I know I got a snare right there, and so on and so forth. And it varies per song, but that's the general consensus of this. But now with the invent or the use of a lot of software programs like Tractor or Serato or Virtual DJ or whatever program there is, normally there's actually a waveform, which I'm not going to show you in this particular video, but there's a waveform right there, and you can actually see, or you can see where the waveform passes like a reference point, and that is akin or the same as this, really, because you can use that waveform, and you can as you wind the platter, the turntable, whether it's a record using Serato or, well, this only applies to virtual DJing or software DJing, you can see the waveform advance and retreat or rewind to certain spots. So you not only can use the light here on the platter, but you can use the actual screen on the on your computer. So that's pretty cool. Making sure everything's going right. So anyway, so like I was saying, what I wanted to talk about tonight in this brief episode, introduction to the basics, is basic platter control. Now, as a beginning DJ or even as a veteran and you want to sharpen your skills, as myself, it's really important to feel confident and have the right control on your platter. I mean, you wanna have, everybody's touch is gonna be different. Some people are really heavy-handed. I prefer trying to be really light-handed, to keep a light touch. That's how those DJs, those legendary DJs that are so good at scratching and stuff, or even beat juggling, they have such a nice light touch. A lot of them do. Some of them may still be heavy-handed, or you see the platter actually dip because they're so heavy-handed. I try not to be like that. I try to be light, and especially on these, since these aren't quite as I'd almost say is not not quite as robust as some of the other options out there. So they try to be light-handed. Also, it's important, especially when you're using vinyl records or whatnot, is grip, tactile grip. I know I've had a lot of times where the record will begin to slide out of my hand. So I'm trying to get a certain sample, but the record is actually advancing. So I'm thinking that I'm at the beginning of the sample, but I'm not. I'm actually like halfway into it, and it doesn't have the same clarity as if I'm at the beginning. So you may see me in this video. You may see me hold my hands in front of my face for some odd reason, and then start turn or doing something like that. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get the moisture on my fingertips. Sometimes rub my hands together to get them kind of tight, trying to get them sticky. When they're cold and dry, it doesn't work good, but when they're kind of moist and sticky, you get a much better feeling, and it's much easier to control the platter. Now, thankfully, like I said, I don't really have to run into that creep problem because these platters aren't motorized, and so they're not actually moving, other than when I move them. So that's the case. So what I'm going to do here is I have a little hip hop beat. I quote unquote a little hip hop beat, and just so you know, in this show, pretty much everything, pretty much all the music, the majority of the music you're going to hear will be music that I created using app. Then I'll show you tell you a little bit more about it at a later date. But it's a really good app, and I definitely recommend it if you like to create music. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop this beat right here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice repeating the beginning of the song, right? I think the beginning has a distinct sample at the beginning, and I'm going to let it go for a couple of bars or measures or whatever, and then I'm going to repeat it. And I know you can do all this can be done simply via loop and stuff, but we'll go into the transition to more of a controllerism type DJing later. Right now, we're just really focusing in on the very basics. Some things I skipped before I get into this, for people who are just really getting new to this thing. The way this DDJ-T1 is set up, you have your crossfader, which every mixer pretty much nowadays has a crossfader, and now you have your four multiple channels. Now, depending on what mixer you may have 2 channels, you may have 3 channels, you may have 4 channels, or you may have more. I have 4 channels set up: channel A, channel B, channel C, channel D. And because Tractor is natively set up for 4 channels, for 4 decks. Right up to here, you just have your EQs, your gain knobs, and then you have your Q section and stuff like that, which we're not going to get into right now. But I just wanted to make sure I covered and mentioned these things. So if you're very new, at least you've seen it. All right, so we're going to do this for a minute, and then I'll come back and talk to you. All right, so just remember, I'm just going to be repeating this sample. All right. Okay. All right. So you kind of get the basic idea. Now, what I want you to notice about this, and this is another reason why I'm doing this program, so I can get my skills sharpened back up, right? Is that you hear when it's off. What we're doing is manually creating a loop, and when it's not perfect, you hear it and you notice it. And so what you want to strive to do is get that drop, that bringing in the next or the alternating deck in at the perfect timing. So what this exercise does is you work on your timing. Now, normally the way I normally do get around not being perfect is you have an intro scratch, or you cheat a little bit by scratching in your next track. that gives you kind of a warm up, as opposed to some people where you can just bring it. What I was trying to do is just bring it straight in on time. But that is something you need to take, spend a little time and practice on to develop so it sounds just right. But like I said, normally the way you get around that a lot of times is you add the scratch. So I'll show you with the scratch, and then we'll go back and I'll reiterate a good practice for you. Okay, all right. So you see the difference in that, where I had the little pickup note scratch, and it made it easier to bring it in. And actually, what it does, it also masks. It helps to mask any of your timing offset. So if you're not perfectly on, that little pickup scratch masks that. But that's not what we want to do right now. What we want to do right now, or what as your homework, your first game skills I'm sorry, wrong show. Oops. Your first the basics homework would be practice bringing it in. Practice bringing it in without the initial scratch. Okay, so we're gonna go back and do that. And I also want you to, what I want you to practice, or what I would recommend practicing, would be start out with the long, a 4 count, dropping it in every 4 counts, and then bring it in every 2 counts, and then bring it in every 1 count, and then eventually try to bring it in every half or whatever count it is. And it'll sound something like this. Let's see if we can do it. 3, 4. 3, 4. I'm gonna do 2 in a minute. 3, 4. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 1. Okay. Wasn't the best, but that's not the point, really. The point is, that's a good exercise, and that's how you build up your chops, basically your DJing, your cutting chops, if you want to do that sort of thing. I mean, you don't ever have to do that if you just want to purely do mixing. But if you want to get into really like the kind of the DJ showmanship as far as manipulating the decks, the platters, this is where you start. And I'm going to keep doing that and continue doing this to build up my own chops, to get them back to where they used to be. I mean, haven't really done a lot of practicing in a while, so this is helping both of us out, right? So, but you see that. So like I said, find your track, a duplicates of a track you got, record, MP3, whatever, song, whatever, and then just start to manually do your loop, and then to manually shorten your loop, and manually shorten your loop, and then start over. And you can just do that. Spend maybe 15-20 minutes doing that. 20 minutes is a long time doing that. But 10 minutes doing that, like on a weekly basis or whatever, and you'll get much better at it. And that's going to help you. I'll show you how that later on, how that's going to help you when you start doing when you're actually mixing music and you want to drop a song in on the downbeat. That's the basic skill you need to develop, so that when you're doing an actual mix, whether it's hip hop or whatever, and you want to bring in that next track, you have that, you've already done this, and you got that muscle memory where you can just come in and drop it. Okay, so with that, I want to leave you guys with, that's the main meat of what we're going to do tonight. Right now, I'm just gonna give you guys a treat. Well, not really a treat, but maybe a treat. Depends on how you look at it. I'm gonna end the show. Well, actually, I'm gonna do a little bit more with this track, and then I'm gonna put in and just do some scratch practice, and we'll go into that on another episode. I'm gonna try to do this as a weekly show. I haven't decided on a time yet. Tonight we started kind of at 8:30ish, so we'll see how that goes. But definitely feel free to check it out. This is Ustream. There's a chat room. You can. I have some viewers. Shout outs to the 2 viewers I do have. I think the Mario's up in there. Amika Wan's up in there. Thank you very much. I'm glad you tuned in. So we'll go from there. Right now, like I said, I'm just going to finish up with this. Then I'll put in another track, scratch for a little bit, and then we'll be out. Thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe and follow. Peace.
Tell somebody this is what it's all about. Tell somebody this is what it's all about. Tell somebody this is what it's all about. We're going to another level. Going to another level. Tell somebody this is what it's all about.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will see you guys next week. Peace out.